Welcome back. 2006 Nissan Altima 2.5 liter. Got a P0420 code. Low catalyst efficiency. I'm going to take you through what I tested on this. I looked at, I just speak a little bit of it. Car running, up on stands. Just did a visual inspection of all the joints where the catalytic converter connects to the exhaust pipe. Looked at for exhaust leaks. Listened. Basically, just take a flexible piece of fuel hose, listen around the exhaust manifold, listen around the joints in the exhaust to see if I could find out if there's any exhaust leaks. Couldn't find any. Everything looks tight. And then I went and looked at fuel trims and O2 sensor data. The O2 sensors on this have been replaced within the last 6 months. I didn't do them, but I could see from the receipts that they have been done, probably for this code is my guess. So I'll show you what I found with them, and we're going to go and actually replace this cat after looking at the data. Just wanted to show, this is the upstream air fuel sensor, and this is the downstream O2. The specs on this should be at, you can see the RPMs here, 2,000 RPMs after the engine's warmed up. It should be right around 1.5, and you can see it stays at 1.5. I did something in there, but it's right around 1.5, which is what I expect to see, so it doesn't look like there's any issue with that. This is switching more than I'd like to see, but that's kind of what I would expect on a bad cat. You'd see it switching a little more than I would expect it to see. But I think I dropped the idle here. I'm looking. Yeah, I dropped down to idle, and you see it stopped switching as nearly as much. And then when I pick the RPMs up, it starts switching more. But you can see it's heated up, and it's not moving a whole lot. That's better, but it's still switching more than I like to see. But the big thing is this air fuel sensor sensor is working correctly. It's at 1.5, which is what the spec is for it. One of the other things I did on this was to take an infrared temperature at the inlet and outlet of the cat, and I expect to see 100-150 degree difference at least, and I didn't see any difference at all. It was basically the same temperature in front of and behind, which is another point to a bad cat. We're going to come in here. We're going to take this catalytic converter, which is right the part of the manifold. We're going to replace that. We've got two O2 sensors. One's right here. This is the upstream sensor. This is actually a air-fuel ratio sensor, not a old style, if you want to say that, O2 sensor. We're going to hook that. There's 5 bolts to hold this heat shield on. I've already taken them off. They're 10mm bolts. Just be careful when you do it. Try not to break them. If you break them, you break them. I believe this new cat may come with bolts. If not, they go into the cat, so you're gonna throw that anyway. But these weren't too bad. They work them out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I thought there was 5, but there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a lower shield. That's the bolt I was thinking of. But take that off. Set it out of the way. Then I'm gonna come in, undo this clip on the O2 sensor here. Should just pivot up here, I think. This, yeah, pivot that up. Unplug it. Set it aside. There's a little tab here underneath. There's a bracket that it mounts on. You can see the front of it right here. I believe, maybe in the way here. All I have to do is find the end of that back here and push it down a little bit to release the front half of this. If it's even, yeah, it's on there. Now let me get a mirror. There's just a metal bracket, a little clip on the bottom of it. It is. It's right there. I'm looking right at it. A little clip. I'll show it to you once I get it off. There it goes. So, just a little clip. Just push that down. Releases the little tab. Slide that off. Now it's loose. I do want to go down here and take this O2 sensor off. It's a 5-wire, I believe. 1, 2, yeah, 5-wire air-fuel ratio sensor. I'll move you in here where you can see. So these O2 sensors, like I said, are new within the last 6 months. They are working okay. So I'm going to keep them. Just going to take that out. I do have a socket for this, but I think this wrench will work fine. I think. Yep. These haven't been in there that long, so I didn't expect too much problem with them. Want to unplug it before you start unwinding it here, because you don't want to twist the wire all up and take a chance of messing the wires up. So we're just going to take this out, set it aside. Hopefully I'm recording this. Sometimes I forget. We'll just set that aside for now. Don't bang it, don't drop it. Just set it aside somewhere where you're not going to destroy it. So you've got the exhaust bolts, but you've got to take this alternator off. So we're going to have to remove the serpentine belt, take this off. It's blocking the lower front exhaust manifold bolt or nut. Start. Down out of the car now, looking up at the catalytic converter. There's the pipe coming up to it. These spring bolts are what we have to get out, and there's one other bolt up here that mounts it to the engine. It's not even tight. Look, it's barely in there. So I can just take it out by hand. That's got to come out as well. That's a bracket mounting the converter onto the engine. But these two, I'm going to spray them down. We'll see how they do. They might just break, which is no big deal. I'll have to put new ones in there anyway. We'll take these two spring bolts out. See how that goes. Broke it right off. Alright, that's okay. That'll come out with the converter. Broke it right off. Didn't do anything, just snapped it right off just like the other one, which is fine in this case. I'm not real worried about it. It's going to be kind of difficult to show you this, but the second pulley down there, you can kind of see it, I hope. That's the idler pulley. It's a 14 millimeter. I've got to get a wrench on that or a serpentine belt tool and loosen this. And I'm just going to take, I'm not taking the belt all the way out. I'm just going to take it off of the alternator and get it off of this pulley so I can get this off of here. The battery is disconnected, so a couple bolts here. Front look like probably 15 millimeter, 14 or 15. One down the bottom. Looks like one down the bottom, one up top here. The shield right in the way, of course. Let me get this, see if I can get this clip off of here first. Of course you'll hear it anyway. Got the bracket. Now I can move that bracket out of my way. So I get at that. I think that's either going to be a 14 or 15. Not sure. Oof. Little pipe. Alright, let's go for the bottom one, which is down here on the inside. I know you can't see it, but I can't really get you in there to see it. Trying to get the wrench on it there. Yep. It goes. Loose. Or at least it moved. Yep. Not a lot of room. But enough. Not too bad, actually. There's 12. Just stick that right back on there. Then we'll put 10. that's 10. I'm hoping I have enough room to get this bolt out of here. It's a long bolt. This bolt is too long for me to get it out of there. This might have to come out. What is this? This fuse? Just sitting there on that side. Oh no. Yeah. Stuff happens all the time. Like I said, I probably need 1/8 of an inch, less than 1/8 of an inch to get that bolt out. I'm either missing a little trick here that I just don't know about. It's literally right on the corner of the fuse box. Right on the corner of it. Just trying to gain a little bit of clearance here. This is blocked in by this, of course. So now I've got to move this, take these off. See if I get enough clearance in moving that to get it out of the way. Nothing but a good time. Oh, I almost got away. Get back in there. Yeah. I can move this. Maybe I can get this out of here. How much? I don't know how much. I should have it. I should have it. There we go. There we go. Got enough play to get that out of the way. I'll show you this. This is, man, this is good design here. There's the bolt right here. This hose right in the way. Everything's got to be right in the way. Right here. Right there is the bolt. Right there. Let me get this back in here. Right down there is the bolt. There's the head. Got to come this way, probably 1/8 of an inch. And it's hitting up against the corner of the bracket that holds the fuse box in here. So I got to unbolt that. And then I should be able to get that off of there. Not too bad, but it's kind of a bad design. I realize you can't see. There's nothing to see. Just 2 bolts holding this bracket in place. I loosened the front bolt, took the back one out. I could pivot this bracket. Maybe I can just pivot it enough that I have to yank the whole thing out of there to get the bolt out. We'll see. I'll know in a minute. Yep, there you go. Beautiful. All right, so this should be loose now. Just gotta wiggle it. Just kind of wiggle it out of here now. Whew. It's not playing nicely. There it goes. Let me get underneath it with a little pry bar. Come on. There we go. Wow, that was fun. So hopefully you can see that. Let me show you that bracket there. Show you what it looks like. Whoop. So that's the bracket right here, so that's where the bolt goes through. Oh, do it again. So there's your bracket. Whoa. For the alternator. That's where that bolt goes through, so it bolts through here to the back. It just kind of squeezes it on this bracket, but it's pretty tight. It came off. Not too bad. A little bit of a nuisance, but not too bad. Now, this is the bolt I wanted to get at. This one and this one. Well, I'm just not feeling like it's hitting very hard. One. Nice at the bottom, it came out just like that, wouldn't it? Doesn't sound like it wants to. Put my hair on. There's the old one. And we'll pull the heat shields off of these. Take these bolts off. There's one on the lower on the other side as well. Transfer them to the new one. Put it all back together. New seal. Alright, so I had to get a plug for this, the downstream sensors in the pipe behind the outlet of the catalytic converter, so I don't need this lower one on the converter. Plug that. The O2 sensor, the upper O2 sensor, the upstream O2 sensor back in. Okay. Oh, need this lower gasket. Stick this back on here. They just stay put for me. That's pretty loose, so I end up having to put it on as I put this on. Just doing a little bit of cleaning. I'm going to clean the gasket surface with the exhaust manifold bolts and clean the flange where the converter goes into the back pipe here. Okay. Have our new gasket. Just got to figure out which way it goes. There's not really only one way it can go, which is here. For the converter, got to get the gasket on here too. I do have a little bit of play. Put that on the right way. Don't put it on that way. In that pipe, so I can move it around. But I want to set it down in here, get it on the exhaust studs for the exhaust manifold, and make sure it's lined up at the bottom. Hopefully without knocking my light all over the place, which I just did. I said that, and then I just did it. Kind of figured that was going to happen. I'll just set it down in here carefully. Watch your O2 sensor when you do this. Go check my gasket at the bottom there. Make sure I got everything lined up right. Just going to put a couple of these bolts, these nuts back on here, hold it in place. I'm going to go down underneath, put that gasket back on, line everything up down there, make sure everything's good. Get a couple on here to hold it. This manifold says 29 to 32 foot-pounds is the torque on it. Not a lot. Alright, let's go back down underneath, show you that, get that all set up, squared away. A new gasket. Just be careful of the flex pipe here, it's a flexible joint, but I got to get this gasket in there. It goes like this. do is get it right in there, get it set, get my bolt started here. I probably need to, I'm gonna have to take this one bolt to mount to that engine off of the other converter and put it on here, but I'll do that. Get these started. I hope. Yeah, there's one. The other one started here. Might need to get an extension for this. And again, I might not. Okay. We're going to torque this, as I said, 29 to 32 foot-pounds. Not a lot, actually. Less than I thought it would be, but that's what it says, so that's what we will do. And then we'll put the shield back on. I can plug my air-fuel sensor ratio. I mean, I can't say that for anything today. Air-fuel ratio sensor. Clip that back on. Plug it back in. It's right on the edge of there. What you can see, but clip it back in. Reattached. And torque this down. That torque wrench. 14 millimeter, if I didn't say before, I just did. Okay, that's what it's getting set to. A little memory card full issue there. Switch cords. So to get it started in there, I can't see any of this, but there's not much to see. You just got to line it up and kind of wiggle it around as you turn the bolt in and get it lined up, get it through there. And it is going in. There it goes. I was able to get the bottom bolt in that, the long one. It's not tightened up all the way yet, but it's almost. I'm going to leave it a little loose so I can move it and get the top one here lined up and get it in. Be a good idea before you go tighten things up. Then we'll tighten this one first. And there's not a whole lot to see here right now, but put this fuse box back in place. Just slides down on there. If you took it off, you know how it goes back. Clips back in place. Set the reservoir, overflow reservoir back in place here. All right, that should be it. Test it, clear the codes, go drive it through a couple drive cycles, make sure the readiness monitors get set, and we'll be good to go. Well, that's it. I had cleared the codes in the car, test drove it till the readiness monitor is completed, everything completed, no codes came back. We'll keep an eye on it, but it looks good right now. O2 sensors look good. One thing I think I didn't say in the beginning is I looked at the fuel trims on this as well initially to see what the fuel trims were doing. I can get you on the Nissans, because most of the time you're looking for fuel trims around 0. Short term, long term, they want to, you know, within 10%, you want to be around 0. 100 is the baseline for a Nissan. You want to right around 100. So it looked good. It was 103, 104. It was right around 100, really close. So there wasn't a problem with fuel. It wasn't running real lean or real rich. Everything looks good on it. It's a couple hours of work, but this cat's actually pretty easy to get to and get apart. If you have this code in your car, have this problem, I hope it helps you out. If you like the video, subscribe below. Thanks for watching.